Welcome back to The Explainer, everyone. Okay, today we are diving straight into something totally fascinating, a massive variable in the longevity equation that we like to call the engine of our youth. We spend so much time obsessing over cellular health or cardiovascular endurance, but today we're actually looking at a purely structural key to a long, vibrant life. So I've got to ask, what do you think really controls how well you age? Is it perfectly dialed in diet macros, your daily cardio routine, maybe packing on muscle mass? Well, all of those are obviously critical. Longevity researchers are increasingly pointing us toward a specific structural foundation. It's something we literally use for every single movement, yet we kind of just ignore it until it starts hurting, right? For years, the golden rule of aging has basically been, hey, just preserve your muscle mass at all costs. And yeah, muscle is absolutely vital, but recent studies are highlighting a totally different central pillar, and it's your hip joint mobility. It's wild, but you could have incredible bodybuilder-level muscle mass, and if your hips are stiff, systemic aging actually accelerates. Your hip mobility is the true heavy lifting foundation here. All right, let's get into section 1, the secret to youth. Think about it. Your hip joint is literally the largest joint you have. It's deeply involved in walking, standing, sitting, basically supporting your entire body weight and keeping you balanced. But when we neglect it, experts track this terrifying systemic domino effect. Here's how it plays out. Step 1, the hips get stiff from underuse. Step 2, because they're stiff, your stride naturally shrinks down. Step 3, a smaller stride means those massive glute and thigh muscles literally stop being fully engaged. Step 4, those unused muscles shrink, causing your foundational metabolism to plummet, which leads us to step 5, accelerated systemic aging. So it's not just about losing a bit of mobility. Neglecting hip flexibility is literally a fast track to broader physical decline. Moving on to section 2, the 5-centimeter stride warning. Now, the absolutely crucial metric here is just 5 centimeters. No joke. A seemingly imperceptible 5-centimeter decrease in your stride length is now used by doctors as a reliable predictor of your future health span. That is a tiny change. We're talking roughly 2 inches, but over the years, this tiny reduction cascades into massive health issues. Here's the terrifying reality of losing that 5 centimeters. It traps you in this vicious feedback loop. A shorter stride naturally disengages those large gluteal muscles we just talked about. Without that engagement, your foundational metabolism drops. And it gets worse, because tighter hips mean you aren't lifting your legs properly either, which suddenly leads to unseen tripping hazards on perfectly flat surfaces. It is a mechanical hazard stemming entirely from reduced hip mobility. So let's brighten the mood a bit with section 3, 3 unexpected health benefits. Keeping those hips happy and mobile offers these total body perks that genuinely transform how you feel every single day. First up, it actively lowers the risk of bedridden states and bone fractures, specifically those scary thigh bone fractures. Second, you get these completely unexpected mental health boosts. Flexible hips literally open up your posture, which allows for deeper breathing, delivers more oxygen to the brain, and clears out brain fog. And finally, moving those hips acts like a giant pump for the major blood vessels and lymph nodes in your pelvis, supercharging blood flow to stop leg swelling and that chronic coldness dead in its tracks. Let's look at how to actually build this toolkit in section 4, essential hip exercises. We can group this first batch into our stability bucket. First up is slow stair climbing. Being incredibly deliberate and focusing on the muscle during this cute, slow movement actively boosts bone density and stamina. Next, side leg abduction. Lifting your leg to the side trains the gluteus medius, which basically stabilizes your pelvis and stops you from wobbling when you walk. Third, high knee raises. This activates your psoas muscle right in the front of your hip, and engaging this specific muscle is exactly what stops you from tripping over flat surfaces. These are deliberate, controlled movements that build a rock-solid, youthful foundation for your knees and lower back. Now for the power and posture bucket. The hip hinge is just phenomenal here. It strengthens your glutes and hamstrings, which helps restore your walking speed and makes getting out of chairs feel absolutely effortless. Then we have lunges, the ultimate move for building lower body power. But the absolutely crucial point here is that maintaining a beautifully straight back and upright posture during these exercises naturally takes years off your appearance. Walking tall with a nice, wide stride instinctively projects vitality and preserves your structural alignment. Which brings us to section 5, advanced mobility and strength. These final targeted movements are all about deeper internal health and crucial flexibility. Inner thigh adduction improves blood flow to reduce annoying leg swelling. Clamshells align your pelvis to ease chronic lower back pain. Then there's the single leg bridge, which strengthens the pelvic floor, and this is scientifically proven to help fix urinary incontinence and bladder leaks, making life joyful again. The crab walk basically bulletproofs the sides of your hips by fortifying that gluteus medius. And finally, the internal rotation stretch loosens up stiff joints while actually correcting bow legs. Together, these movements just fix the whole shebang of daily mechanical issues. And that brings us to this incredibly powerful quote from the source material. Hips are not just joints, they are the mirror reflecting your future health. The evidence is absolutely clear that systemic aging isn't just about the clock ticking away, it's highly correlated with the tightening of our structural foundation. The biggest takeaway today is that you can actively maintain this mobility. So I challenge you, try taking just a slightly wider, bolder step today, or knock out a few high knee raises to wake up that psoas muscle. Because at the end of the day, what will your mirror reflect tomorrow? Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.